Hello, and welcome to Digifabricators, the show where we learn how makers and artists use their computer driven tools for fun, art, and profit. I'm your host, Jeff Stein, aka A Weird Guy, and with me is my talented but humble co host, Al Schultz of New York Woodworks. How are you doing, Al?
I'm doing wonderful, Jeff. How about yourself?
Oh, not too bad. Enjoying spring, early summer.
Yeah,
Weather's looking pretty good.
that's what's happened to us. We had spring, and now today it's going to be in the 90s, and tomorrow it'll be frost warning. So again, probably.
Yeah, well, that's the weather. If you don't like
Yeah,
it, wait 5 minutes, it'll do something else.
that's right. What do we got going on today, bud?
Well, let's throw out a disclaimer and then we'll see what we can find to talk about.
Very good.
Um, Even though we pretend to be experts on the internet, I would like to point out that neither of us have any actual training and are just guys winging it in our shops and learning as we go. All advice provided is based on our personal experience and possibly inaccurate assumptions, and is worth exactly what you pay for it. If listening to this show causes you to take out a loan to buy new and expensive digital tools, you may tell your spouse that it was our fault, but do so at your own risk. So, our guest tonight hits the town wearing a 3D printed dress, creates custom masks using a computer controlled sewing machine, and has even given herself a tattoo using a CNC. Welcome to the show, Jess Nelson of Jess Makes.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Good
Uh,
evening, ma'am. Good evening.
Happy to have you.
I was gonna, I was just gonna jump right in here, and I'm glad you brought it up in the intro. You literally printed material to make a dress. This is
Yeah.
3D printed material. Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
found on Thingiverse, there's a file called Flat Fabric. And yeah, you can download that, print it out. I did mess with it a little bit, trying to chop up the pieces, see I can get the hem like nice.
right.
But I was overthinking things. In order to get like a curve in the fabric, I just needed to scale it up by 10% in rows. And that's
Mm-hmm.
how I got it from just a square to curvy shapes.
So by scaling it up, you gave it room to flex. Is that kind of the like a ball and
Yeah,
socket? Because this is
yeah,
basically like chainmail, right? It
exactly.
looks like.
It's
Yeah,
like Lego
yeah.
material. It can snap together as many times as you need it to.
So cool. I mean, it looks a little insecure for a dress, but
Well, to be fair, it looked like you did have some little bit of something on underneath it
Oh
for
yeah.
a slip or something along those
Oh
lines.
yeah. I definitely couldn't sit down in it very comfortably. It was a
yeah,
bit pokey.
nice. That is so cool. And I was scrolling your Instagram the last few days, obviously, but you are a prolific creator. There's nothing you haven't tried. Is there anything
I'm,
like? Is there
yeah,
anything you haven't tried?
I'm a little bit all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. In 2015, I did Fab Academy.
Which
And
is what?
that's a course through MIT based off of how to make almost anything. And that's where I got to really learn all the different kinds of making there are out there.
Wow, wow. Well, and I'm sorry, I got ahead of us here, Jeff.
Yeah,
Why don't you introduce yourself and give us a little quick how you got here?
sure. Yeah, my name is Jess Nelson. I'm coming to you from Charleston, Illinois. I've been in the Midwest for a long time.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I'm a maker. I don't really like the term artist for some reason. That just like yeah, I'm kind of an artist, but I jive with the term maker more.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
I've been teaching and making things for like 10 years now.
Are you a teacher, like an educator in
Um,
schools, or?
Not currently.
Yeah,
I
no.
did work for 6 years at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign Fabrication Laboratory. That's where I started off doing Fab Academy. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I taught college classes, I taught summer camps, and then of course we had open hours at the Fab Lab. So we weren't just for people at the university, we were also open to the community, and
Mhm.
anyone could come in with an idea that they wanted to make, and our job was to show them how to use the tools and machines there to make their idea come to life.
So you literally they come in with a napkin that they had a conversation with at the diner yesterday, and then you figure out, all right, you want to use this material, this machine, this application to do it.
Exactly. Yep. We set
That's
them up, we
cool.
train them on the
Yeah.
machine, and then the best part is once they're confident in handling it, we invite them to turn around and show the next person. So
Pay it forward
it's
kind of
really
thing.
fun,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
inspire the confidence in people that they can also do stuff.
Sure.
It's
Sure.
great.
There's no better way to narrow in exactly what you know about a machine than having to explain it to someone else.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That really that I mean, there's some good steps for learning things. I mean, first somebody shows it to you, and then second they do it and you help, and then third they do it. I mean, you do it and then they help, and then last you do it on your own. But I'd say the fifth step is show somebody else how to do it, because
Hmm.
that really makes you think about the what's and the whys and the hows. If you have to be able to share that with someone else, it really makes you think about what you're doing and why you're doing and what these steps are for when you have to
Exactly.
explain it to someone else.
And it's a little bit of legacy, don't you think? Like if you can help somebody else become a creative, you're kind of leaving the planet better than you found it, if you will. You know,
Definitely.
I had a boss. We were talking a few minutes ago about. I used to live in the Midwest as well, in Kansas, and I had a boss out there who I started minimum wage on a shovel in a ditch, and 15 years later, I was running a 10-man crew. I was an electronics technician, and his whole principle in the company was everybody should be teaching the man or woman under them to do their job better.
Hmm.
Because if I teach you how to do my job and my guy teaches me how to do his job, the whole company and everybody moves up. You know, the what's that? The tide raises all boats kind of thing. Um, and it's been very interesting as a business owner myself to see how people don't understand that. People are very much trained to this is my job and nobody can do it better than me, and I don't want anybody to, because if somebody can do it better than me, I might lose my job. You know, and that's not a good mentality to have, and not a good
Yeah.
thought,
You
not a good
you close your
focus.
you close yourself off from learning new things if you do
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're limiting yourself. And again, back to your, I don't even know where to go with your Instagram feed. It's just like, oh, she's done that. Yep, uh huh. Do you get into projects and then when you're done with them, like that's a done thing? I did neon, and I'm not interested in that
Oh
anymore,
no, I'll come
or
back. I'll swim back. I'll swing back around to it.
to
Someone asked me recently, why do I make stuff? And my answer was to see if I can. It's very satisfying to have an idea, execute it, and then is it going to turn out the way you expect? Am I going to fail and learn new things? Probably.
yeah,
So yeah, it's all about the process and the journey of getting there.
that's a
That
great
is
answer,
the best
Jeff.
part.
That Jeff, you should make that to see if I can should be the episode title.
Yeah.
No, that's a very good, simple. It's not complicated. You don't have to process things. I love it. I'm gonna
Mhm.
adopt that. Why do you do that?
Yeah.
To see if I can.
And,
It's a,
and
Yeah.
and it's okay to have lots of projects going at once. I have a gazillion things that I want to accomplish,
yeah,
but you got to be easy on yourself and be like, what do I actually have time for? And just break it into pieces. Chip
yeah,
away at things when you can.
yeah. What does your
Yeah.
work? What does your workspace look like? Do you have a shop, or are you working from home, or
I work from home.
no?
My living room has a large CNC machine, two lasers. I have another room with 3D printers, embroidery machine,
You
soldering
have it
station.
in
Uh,
your living room.
yeah. Yeah, I
That's
work from
awesome.
home.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah. So yeah, it's really great. It's like Fantasia in here. Instead of
I
cleaning supplies, I have machines doing my bidding.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There you go.
How is I'm curious how like a CNC machine in my living room. I'm just trying to figure out how to process that.
That's a good dust collection system.
Yeah, I bet.
It's
Yeah.
really, I'm super productive. I love it. I can do milling and also prep dinner at the same time because it's within
That's
10 feet.
okay. Note to self, honey. I'm bringing the CNC in the house.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't have a sofa. I don't have a TV, but I have machines.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm entertained.
So do you like? Are you like watching like Survivor on at 10 o'clock at night, going, "Oh, I'm going to try this," and you just walk across the room and try something?
Uh, yeah, yeah. It is really nice when I have ideas. It's like, yeah, I could just walk over to the machine and try it out.
Yeah,
I'll go get a snack, come back to it.
yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
literally my shop is on my property, but I will be like watching TV or just relaxing in the house and go, "Oh, I got to remember," and I have to make a note because I won't even walk 30 feet, across the yard.
Hmm.
but if but if I had a CNC in my living room,
Yeah. Yeah, I think all workspaces should have some sort of kitchen.
hmm
Everyone needs fuel. I've been to a lot of maker spaces and hacker spaces, and the kitchen is just as important as the machines because people gotta take care of themselves.
interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mark Spagnolo, the wood whisperer, has got a pretty cool setup with a kitchen in his shop, and it's an old firehouse, like an old
Nice.
rural firehouse, and he's got like the clean side, and then there's a kitchen break room, and then the dirty side, the
Hmm.
CNCs and the table saws and stuff like that. But all the lasers and printers and everything are on in the clean room, which is what I've got to do. I've got to build a clean room because Hannibal, the CNC over here, is just wrecking everything. It's crazy. Even the computer here, I just replaced everything.
Yeah, I could use a little bit more clean space in my shop too, but I've got a small cabinet that I built to put my 3D printer into.
Hmm
So I can just shut the doors on that cabinet and keep the sawdust out. I mean, I try to leave the doors like halfway open when it's running just to keep the air from getting too hot in there. But if I'm running a bandsaw or a CNC or something, I'm just gonna go shut those doors until the sawdust settles down.
hmm
But it'd be nice to have like a separate area for that.
Yeah, yeah. What give us a I mean we're on video so we can see each other, but we're not the podcast doesn't release in video, but give us a quick shop tour of like what was your first digital tool? How's that? what got
Ooh,
what got you into it?
my first digital tool. Gosh, does a sewing machine count?
Is it
I
It's
mean,
digital.
computerized? Yeah.
eh. So I first got involved with my Fab Lab volunteering. I
hmm
helped fix a digital embroidery machine, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. I just started spending all my time there,
Yeah.
and yeah, so probably a digital embroidery machine. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Those things are I've watched them. They look like things can go wrong real
Oh
fast as
yeah.
they're running.
Uh-huh. Yeah. You got your top thread and your bottom thread, and everything needs to line up just right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure they're just like a CNC machine. They do exactly what you tell them, even if it's wrong.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I suppose
But
you need to have a decent amount of knowledge of sewing and some mechanical stuff as well as the
Hmm.
digital side before you can get one of those things to work.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm the kind of person that when things are broken, I want to open it up and look inside and
hmm
see if I can figure out what the problem is and go from there.
Yeah.
So,
That's
Yeah.
cool. So I see a laser behind you there. Is that what's going
yeah,
on?
I have a Fox Alien diode laser.
Mm-hmm.
I got it a couple years ago. It's discontinued now, but I like it. It's a very basic machine, kind of like Reality 3D
Mm-hmm.
printers. They're just super basic. Well, the original ones.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yeah, I have a Fox Alien Vasto XXL CNC machine here. It's pretty nice. I like it.
Nice, nice.
Um,
Is that like a Onefinity equivalent kind of machine?
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
It's lead screws. I got a spindle on it.
Yeah.
Um, I'm
Not a
still,
router.
no, not a router.
Good. Good.
My router table's in the garage.
Nice. You can't get dust collection on that one.
No.
Not living room level anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I try and do the really dirty stuff outside.
Yeah. Yeah. So you do have basically a dirty shop in the garage for like rough
Yeah.
stuff, and then you have a creative shop in your house.
Yeah.
Really cool. I love this concept.
I have
Um.
an X-Tool F1. That's my newest laser. It's diode and infrared, which is really fun, satisfying to do marking on metal. It's
Yeah.
not a powerful like fiber laser. I'm not going to be engraving coins or anything like that, but
Hmm.
it has its own like air purifier, little filter,
Okay.
which is convenient. I don't have to put my hose in the window like I have to do for the diode. Fox Alien.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now,
yeah.
now you said it was all right. I have CO2 and
Fiber.
fiber,
What's
but
infrared?
yeah, what's infrared?
Um, it's a laser. It's a kind of laser. Uh,
Show me the lasers.
it's the wavelength.
Yeah. Does it
Um,
come
Okay.
out of the diode, or is it a
yeah,
separate?
yeah. You switch modes. Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah,
it's
it's a strange one. It's got yeah. It's dual laser.
interesting.
So
Interesting.
what does
And
Two
the
it?
kinds.
UV will engrave what? Metal only,
So the
or everything?
diode's
Mm.
more for like organic materials and wood and leather, and the
Hmm.
infrared is more for metal marking.
Okay.
That's what
Okay.
I
Ceramics or
generally use it
no?
for. Yeah.
So it's a cheaper way than fiber to do some metal engraving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just at a much lighter level, you're not doing the depth of a coin, but you can still put a logo on something.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I put a lot of
Okay.
memes on my silverware for fun.
Memes.
Cool.
Yes.
Nice.
Awesome.
Oh
Yeah.
goodness.
Okay. Well, that's fun. I wasn't expecting to learn a new laser today, but hey, these
Yeah.
things happen.
Yeah, they are kind of newer. It's interesting seeing the manufacturers coming out with two and one. And then yeah, they have like a flying Galvo by Raleigh is coming out soon. That's really interesting.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
coming out with all kinds
Diodes.
of stuff.
Yeah. You can get like 50, 100 watt diodes now, which is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sitting here with what is it, 4.5 watt diode. But
Hey.
I mean, I basically just use it to put my logo on things I've done on the
Hmm.
CNC. So
That's perfect.
that's all you need.
Yeah. And I love the bamboo printers. I have an A1 and an A1 mini. Um, they're so awesome. It's so nice not to have to calibrate your E-steps when you switch to like TPU. Um, yeah, they just work.
Yeah, yeah. I just turned, I believe, 4,000 hours on my X1 that I
Wow.
bought, and I
Wow.
and I bought it last summer, and I think I've got
So
four
it's
thousand hours on it, and I just run the hell out of it. I'm just downloading the entire internet and printing it. I don't want to know how many dollars worth of plastic I've used, but I mean, I just printed a 10-inch tall Yoshi the other day, and
Nice.
why I felt the need to do it. I
It's
saw
so
one.
satisfying.
I saw one. It was cool. I printed it. I glued it together, and now I've got a Yoshi. What am I gonna do with the Yoshi? I don't know, but I'm gonna need more display cabinets apparently.
I like it when something breaks. I'll go to Thingiverse and see if someone's designed it, like a piece for an IKEA furniture, a
Oh yeah,
screw cap, anything like that. And it's just like, oh, someone's had the same problem as me, and here's the solution. I love
and
it.
if
I
they
was
haven't, then it's time to start CAD.
Hmm.
I was listening to, was it Making It last week or a couple of weekends ago, and Dave Picciuto was saying he has like an old Norelco or Philco razor, like a hair trimmer,
Hmm.
or
Yeah,
like a wall. Philco, and apparently there's plastic parts in these all these things, and somebody has taken the time and designed. Maybe it was Philips released them. So if you buy a Philips razor and it breaks, you can go and download a file and print the piece to fix the razor instead of throwing it away.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it was a couple episodes back, but yeah, that was good. That's impressive that a company would do that. I mean, it
That's
seems
how
to
you
make
get
so much
to
more
zero
sense to
waste.
support your customers. I mean, there's a point where you want your product to break, so they'll buy another one. But I mean, who says they're going to want to buy another one of yours if it broke the first time?
Right. Exactly.
Unfortunately, the problem is the planned obsolescence is pretty much across the board. And
Standardized now.
you could go buy a different brand of razor and it's going to do the same shit. So maybe going with the one that'll give you the ability to make your own free replacement parts would be definitely, that'd be a selling point for me.
Right?
It really would. I'd be a lot more inclined to, I mean, I know these things are just going to break, especially since they're cheapening them down with a bunch of plastic pieces on the inside instead of making things with steel like they used to make everything. Of course, it was heavy, but it was heavy and it was expensive, but it lasted forever. Grandma's washing machine is still running, as is Grandpa's razor.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that you could just make your own replacement parts, and the company's supporting of that. That is that is really impressive that a company would actually go as far as to offer you the models that you can print your replacement parts.
And this is literal proof that the system works. I heard it on a podcast, and now 3 people are talking about it in another podcast, and people are going to hear this, and this is how positive marketing happens. You can't look at this on a flow chart, and see how it's going to work.
No, word of mouth travels in weird zigzag dangles.
Yeah.
And of course, it'd be better advertising if we were 100% convinced which brand it was that offered the parts. It might do them more good. But I think it might have been Philips. But I mean, I that was a couple episodes back, and I just don't remember.
Yeah. Well, it's the process is what I was kind of making a point of there. So
yeah.
Miss Jess, what if I may ask, with as diverse as you are and as much time as this takes, what do you do for a living? is this it?
Great question.
Do you sell these pieces?
No. I had an Etsy store. So I had an Etsy store a long time ago, back when Etsy was cool.
Same.
But yeah, no, I'm a support agent for Lightburn. I answer support tickets I help people use their diode, CO2, and fiber lasers.
Oh, we may have
Wicked.
talked, and if not, we need to.
Yeah, you got problems? I want to hear about them.
I do have problems.
Send me your support data.
Okay. we just became best friends.
Yeah, I really love my job. There's always new problems. We're always
That's
improving the
awesome.
software,
Yeah.
and there's always new lasers coming out.
Yeah.
So there's always new equipment to learn about and how it's supposed to function with the software.
This is
On top of that,
Go ahead. I'm sorry, please.
on top of that, we're also releasing MillMage, our CNC control software. So there's a lot of beta testing and getting the documentation ready, and just so much work involved with that.
So it will control CNCs right out of Lightburn, or it's another suite?
It's another suite.
Okay.
But it's like Lightburn in the fact that Lightburn will control your laser directly, and the milling software will interface directly with the CNCs.
You will be able to control some of your CNC machines, not all, with MillMage. Yeah.
Depending on compatibility.
Exactly. And the files, you'll be able to bring them back and forth. You'll be able to import a Lightburn file into MillMage and vice versa.
Nice.
But it looks very similar, at least the editing tools.
Yeah. I've been with Lightburn since it's my only laser control software I've ever used.
Hmm.
uh, with the CO2 laser, and then this was just plug and play for Lightburn.
Hmm.
Um, and I like how it is ever expanding. Like I have software, my CNC control software doesn't change very often, so I just open it and do the same thing. Lightburn changes so often, or
Oh yeah.
updates, I should say, that I'm constantly engaged in it, and I feel like I'm more adept in Lightburn than I am in other programs, simply because they're continuously upgrading and adding and tweaking, and and I feel like they listen to their users.
Oh yeah. We have
We
a
don't like this.
feature request page where people, yeah, you can
Oh,
vote
really?
for features. Yeah.
Nice, nice,
And
nice.
we care about it. We want to hear about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh. Now my light burn does not change. I mean, I bought a 1 year. I bought the year subscription when I bought the little diode laser, which was, I don't know, maybe 3.5 years ago. I bought the 1 year subscription, and when the year was up, I downloaded an update, and then that's where it sat for the last couple of years, because it just keeps working, and there was nothing wrong with the version I had. I just didn't. I mean, for as often as I use this thing, which is a few times a year, I didn't see the need to keep paying for the ongoing subscription. So
And that's
I'm just
awesome. That we want it to be like that. If you're
I
satisfied with the software you're using
yeah,
now, then that's great.
I'm
But
satisfied with the way it works. I
I
don't see
do
the
gotta
need to upgrade it.
I do gotta say though, we don't like the word subscription. We don't store your payment information, therefore we do not offer a subscription service.
Okay, that's fair.
Um, so the term we like to use is renewal. So you would renew
Yeah,
your license if you
yeah,
wanted to use new versions of the software. Uh, yeah, just a little correction. Sorry.
yeah.
Well, no,
I
no, that is a fair differentiating point. I mean, it really comes out almost the same,
Hmm.
but it's got a better feel to it. That
Yeah,
you're just not waiting for the 12 months to run out so they yank more money out of your card.
yeah.
And I mean, your software doesn't stop working. You
Mhm.
just stop getting new updates
Hmm.
until you feel like you're paying for another year's worth of updates. So I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that nothing stops, you don't have to. It's not like we're taking another $600 out of your bank account, or you can't use your software anymore. That's the scammy feel you're trying to avoid with a renewal there, and I think it works.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So far. Yeah.
Yeah, I just subscribe to Mosaic, and they get their payment every month. And
Oh wow.
holy crap, that's a big payment. That's a big subscription. But yeah, I just renewed my license with Lightburn. Unfortunately, I had a desktop in here that was starting to fail and get glitchy, and I was like, ugh. And going to Mosaic, you can only run that on one PC without spending a lot of money to have multiple licenses.
Hmm.
And I was like, well, if I'm going to be at a client's house and they're going to want to see something, I need to put this on a laptop. And I didn't want to have a desktop in the house, a laptop, and then a desktop in the shop and have half my files here and a third of my files there and blah, 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 blah. So I went and bought a docking station and put everything on the laptop, which was, I was driving a thumbtack with a sledgehammer with that thing. So it's capable. But in the migration and everything, I lost all my art, all my logos, all everything in Lightburn. And
No.
we did a deep search on the old PC. We couldn't find the file extension. Like it's just gone.
We do have a new bundle feature in versions 1.6 or higher where you can export all of your settings, and that makes it easy for you to migrate them.
That's what I did. Yeah, I'm 1.7. Where is it? Where am I? I don't even know where I am now. Yeah, I got too many screens going. Dang it! Come on, talk amongst yourselves.
uh, I'm sorry to hear that you lost your settings. I want to hear more
One,
about it. Please email us.
one, yeah, 1.7.08 is what I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah,
And you weren't able to import your settings from another computer.
I got everything except for my art library.
Oh, okay.
and
Uh,
it's just we spent 2 days trying to find it. It's unbelievable. It's just gone.
all right. I'm gonna make a note of that.
Oh, tech support in a podcast. It doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah,
And
well,
Well,
you
late.
use the export bundle feature, right?
I
From
I
file.
well, I used what the guy told me to do.
Okay. Okay.
He sent me like a do this, do this, do this kind of thing. It wasn't really a.
Sure.
That's one thing, and I don't want to. I'm not calling out Lightburn, but I
Yeah.
do want to call out tech services to those 14 people that are listening. It's a little unnerving to not be able to talk to a person.
Oh yeah, I understand.
You know, and it's like, and I'll do the little chat bot thing, and then you finally get somebody to contact you via email, and it's like, listen, if you call me, we could solve this in 5 to 10 minutes. Otherwise, I'm going to email with you for the next 3 days.
No, that is a common complaint you hear from people.
Yeah,
Why can't you just call us? And a lot of the problems sometimes they need to be solved with screenshots,
yeah,
and sometimes
yeah.
talking to people takes a lot of time. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to be polite.
A lot of bandwidth. Yeah, it's a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
bandwidth. Yeah,
And
yeah,
so yeah, our response to why we don't have phone support is the software would cost way more if we were to offer that. That's just
that's
something
fair.
that would
Yeah,
take a lot more infrastructure to handle and a lot
yeah,
more people.
yeah.
Lightburn isn't very big. We're less than 40 people.
Seriously,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, sometimes people reach out to Lightburn support and we kind of have to convince them that we aren't AI. We are real people.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that's it.
You had to do it to me.
hmm
Because it's like because everybody there's so much AI
hmm
going around now, and I'm just old enough to you know really
hmm
balk it.
People will come in and they'll say I have a problem and we need to know what kind of laser you're working with. We need to know your operating system. We need to extract the
Yeah,
details so we can understand the issue and address it effectively.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Can I ask for Jess when I type in the chat bot?
So I don't yeah, we don't have a chat bot on our website. You would just email us at support and then you
Okay,
get an email
yeah.
that says, "Hey, we got your email. We'll be reaching out soon." So,
All right,
yeah.
cool. Yeah, I would like to because there's some other training questions I would really like to. Like I don't. I'm like. Well, I'll go ahead and do the Jimmy DiResta mention for the every podcast we have to have one. I just turn it on and figure
hmm
it out. And that's really not the best way to do it because I'm missing so many features and so many. Like I'll have a friend of mine's a sign
hmm
maker and sign company, and his laser he actually just set his shop on fire a
Oh
couple weeks
no.
ago. Well, 6 weeks ago now. Tom, yeah. Um, not he lost his laser and he had to have some smoke uh, treatment
Yeah.
done to the
Never
rest
leave
of the.
your laser unattended.
He was sitting. It was on
Okay.
camera, and you could see the camera's pointing at the laser, and he's sitting 5 feet away from it with his back
hmm
to it, and like you could see the flame right behind. And he said, "I heard it sound like
Oh
frying
my
chicken,"
goodness.
and I turned around and the laser's going off. But he just got like he got a new AP laser, and it came with Lightburn
hmm
this time instead of the previous whatever they were using before. So it's like all new to him, and he's a deep dive guy. Like he wants to know every feature, everything. So he was having problems with his rotary, so he came over last night just to get half a dozen things, 10 or 12 mugs laser, just to get his clients
hmm
caught up. And I was doing something, and he's like, "No, no, no, no," and he like click, bang, boom, and I'm like, "Wait, what did you just do?" you know? And it was some setting that I just never took the time to learn. So I need to do a deep dive on all my softwares, not
Yeah.
just Lightburn. It's all my software.
And depending on your device profile, depending on your laser's controller and the firmware that's running
Mm-hmm.
on it, something that you
Mm-hmm.
may see in a YouTube video may not be available to you on your profile because of the limits
Right,
of the controller. Yeah.
right, right,
Rotary
right.
is one of the things
Nice.
that really it got me too. It was very difficult to figure out when you first just like jump in and don't look at documentation and you're just like, I want point A
Yeah,
to B, just run to it.
right. I think his last software just identified the rotary because it was their
Hmm.
rotary, so it just did it. And this one was all. He's got the Ruida
Hmm.
controller now, and I said, no, no, no. All you got to do is go in and tell it. He didn't understand that you had to tell it how to clock, how many rotations or how many
Yeah,
points there are in a rotation. Like my rotary's 5,500, my rotary chuck is
yeah.
2,700.
That, that
So
test
and
button in the rotary setup window is there for a reason. Use it.
yeah,
Uh,
see, there's another button I didn't
yeah,
know about.
that test button will make the rotary rotate, and if your steps, your
Yeah,
millimeter per rotation is correct, it'll. Uh,
it should do it
yes,
completely
exactly.
around. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to learn all of the features in Lightburn, gosh, I don't even like my first thing is like find a project that encompasses all of that.
hmm,
Yeah, I do my best learning when I'm motivated to get something done. So you just need to find a project
yeah,
that incorporates that feature that you want to learn
yeah.
more about. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Appreciate it. Sidebar.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I love it. It's great. And I'm always
Yeah,
learning new stuff. There's always new machines.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what other kind of digital fab stuff are you into back there? You got your diodes, you got your CNCs, you got a sewing
Uh,
machine. Do you currently work with the sewing machine with the
oh yeah,
embroidery stuff?
uh-huh. I have a
Yeah, yeah. That's how you do.
brother embroidery machine. It's got an 8x10 uh sewing, a nice big area for uh
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah,
For a
yeah.
long time I used the software called SewArt by SNS Computing. But recently I've been playing around with an Inkscape plugin called InkStitch and learning how to use that. It's a little tricky, it's a little slow sometimes, but it's
Hmm.
really neat software for digitizing files.
Inkscape does just about
Hmm.
everything, don't
I
they?
love Inkscape. Inkscape's great. I when I first started using lasers, I would use Inkscape to design my files before Lightburn
Very
existed.
good. Yeah.
Nice.
Wow. Wow. I design in the Laguna. Well, it's not Laguna.
Hmm.
Vector Aspire, and then I'll export to Lightburn. But I think it's because I don't understand the controls in
Mm.
Lightburn, whereas I do. So that's like an extra step I really don't need to do. What I need to do is take the time and learn
Yeah,
how to do it in
yeah.
Lightburn.
Node editing can be a little tricky. Yeah.
Hmm.
The trace feature is super helpful. You can adjust your
Hmm.
images before you trace them, which is
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Like I've got a camera on this thing, and I don't know how to set it up in Lightburn. I can't figure out how to make it work.
does the camera connect to
Um,
your computer via USB?
the the machine is USB
Okay.
connected, if that's the correct answer. Or yeah, no, no, no. I'm sorry. Is it?
So the camera should be able
Yeah,
to
yeah.
connect
USB. Yeah, yeah.
separately from your controller. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then you'll
Yeah,
need to go through
yeah,
the calibrate your lens and do the alignment procedure. Email
yeah.
us if you need help.
I will. I am going to. You are not ever going to get rid of
That's
me.
fine. Yeah.
So you decided that you needed to give yourself a
Oh
tattoo?
yeah.
I
And
mean,
so it's not on a CNC machine. It's actually a laser. It's probably like the dinkiest laser you could possibly use, with little belts. And yeah, it's one of those projects that I was just like, let me see if I could do it. I had a I
why
had a
not?
tattoo machine when I was young, as a teenager, and I was like, let me jump back into tattooing again. So I got a gun off of Amazon, and I modified the laser I was using as a A1 Spider, and it has a pen plotter attachment. Unfortunately, the solenoid is not powerful enough to lift the heavy tattoo gun. So what I've done so far is I've hacked the power button, and I need to figure out how to make it so that when I use Lightburn to move the machine around, the gun will turn on when I need it to. So it's a work in
Okay.
progress. It's one of those fun side projects.
It's very clean. I looked at the video. Like that's a very
It's
clean
okay.
heart.
It didn't heal very well. I don't
Well,
I don't recommend toe skin as a great
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't going to go there,
uh-huh.
but that's
Yeah.
your choice.
I'd say a flatter portion of skin would probably be
Yeah.
best. I mean, I think part of it looked like it got a little bit light on one
Hmm.
side, and that was absolutely a depth issue because
Yes.
there was some curvature on the toe
Hmm.
there.
Yeah,
And so yeah, I mean, it's like using a CNC on a curved surface, and trying to plan it for a single depth, and it just,
Yeah.
it kind of fades out towards the edge there.
Yeah.
But
it's
yeah, probably a flatter piece of skin would probably work best. But
you could go full Post Malone. Forehead, nose.
yeah, that
Yeah, I'm gonna stick to small things and as flat as I can find it.
Yeah, yeah. That can still be
Uh-huh.
covered.
Yeah. Or I could just laser
yeah.
it off later when I'm yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Now, can you do that with a normal laser?
Uh, like remove tattoos? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I have seen someone laser off a tattoo with a fiber laser on YouTube.
Oh,
Uh, yeah,
Hmm.
they did it. They had like a blacked out area and they did a design. I don't know how well it healed. Um,
yeah,
I think generally, like if you're gonna laser your skin, yeah, there needs to be like pigment in it already. Otherwise, you're just like
yeah,
scorching yourself. And eventually your skin will heal over and you'll just be left with a weird scar.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Digifabricators does not support
Yeah,
lasering
please
your
don't do
skin. Do
that.
not attempt this at home.
And don't put tattoo guns in
Well,
lasers either.
I know
This is
that
for the adults.
I know that tattoo removal is using a laser. I'm not sure what kind
It
of a
is.
laser it
I'm not
uses.
sure either.
It feels like that. It feels like that wideband, like they strip rust with. It feels like that kind of a
Hmm.
pulse type thing.
I
I've
don't
never
know.
done it, as I'm covered. Some good, some bad.
I've got a couple, but I'm not thoroughly happy with one in my back, and it's the guy did a really good job doing the outline on the design, and then he came back and he filled in the design using the same color, and because he
Mhm.
used the same color, the 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 inner color, like, it like bled into the outline, and then it bled out, so the outline has got like little jaggy rough edges now, and it's kind of, it's not super attractive.
Have you asked him to clean it up?
And well, what I was thinking about was, if I ever had the money and the time and cared, would be to go do a little bit of the laser removal. As far as I understand, it takes like what, 5 or 6 passes. You got to go in like 5 or 6 different times to do the laser removal, and it just gets a little bit lighter every
Hmm.
time. And because this is a dark blue, and I can't go in and clean up the edges with the dark blue the way it is, I was told by a professional that if I go in and get like 2 passes with the laser removal, it would then take the dark blue and make it a very light blue, at which point they could come in with black and redo the edges, and
Mhm.
make a good solid border on it. But I'd need to
Mhm.
lighten up the whole thing before I could do that. It never occurred to me that laser removal is a some random kind of laser, and it's like, god, we've got like 6 kinds of lasers between the three of us. Which kind is it that I need to fix my back?
There's so many kinds.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's so
yeah.
many. Yeah, I mean, diodes
It
and
really,
different
it
things.
really is amazing how quickly this, uh, the maker community, if you will, I'm doing air quotes, and how quickly it blew up technologically. Like I'm I'm full heavy woodworking since 2016, and CNCs were like Jimmy DiResta had a tiny one, and it was $10,000,
Hmm.
you know, in 2016. And now it's almost like, oh, you don't have a CNC? I'm sorry, you
Uh-huh.
know,
Yeah.
like everybody's got one. I literally have I've got a big one, and there's a small one in my basement that I'm storing for a friend because he just didn't have room to put it anywhere. Like I'm, you know, and I've got another buddy. I'm actually thinking about buying a 2x3 Laguna because he's just making a crazy deal on it. But it's just this stuff was unattainable, and when Jeff and I were kids, it was almost unimaginable. This was Jetsons level
Hmm.
stuff, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot more
Oh
machines
But
yeah.
and lasers out there than there used to be. There's a lot of competition. I started off with the 3018 diode, and it was like $250. And I liked it so much, I returned it and got a bigger one. So, yeah.
nice, nice, nice.
Nice.
It's also, I don't want to say adversely. It's made
Hmm.
businesses made business interesting. Like when I first got the CO2, everybody wanted mugs, you know, and you know now you see on Facebook ads, you know, 6 mugs for $100 shipped, and it's like, how are they doing that? You know, but it's because everybody's got a Glowforge now or whatever. You know, they've got shops in their living rooms and they can laser mugs all night long while they're watching
Hmm.
TV.
Well, it's nice the way that technology gets invented and it's expensive as hell and it's complicated as hell, and then they work on it for a few years and they figure out how to do it better and do it cheaper and then make it commercially available for
Mm-hmm.
people to do as a business. And then if you wait another 5 years, they'll keep refining the system and keep improving things to the point where they'll hit hobby level, where
Mm-hmm.
you've got professional grade equipment coming at hobby level prices that you can put in your own shop,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is, I love that. And there's still a handful of tools I'm waiting for them to actually hit a reasonable price point for me to jump in as a hobby. I mean, I'm waiting for a scanner that doesn't suck that I can get for, you know, $300. I want
mm-hmm.
a 3D scanner. That'd be fantastic. What would I do with it? I don't know. I'm not going to make any money off of it because I typically just buy shit to have fun with and play with it. But
Yeah.
I can't justify spending $3,000 on a good 3D scanner.
Mm-hmm.
But, another couple years down the road, I'm going to be able to get a professional grade scanner that won't leave me with 40 hours of blender
Hmm.
cleanup. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be able to buy it for $200-300. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just waiting for that day. I know it's coming. The progression
I believe in
happens.
it too.
Yeah,
I just have
yeah,
to be patient.
yeah. What's
And
what's on? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jeff. I didn't want to interrupt.
no, I was just looking at your fiber laser over your shoulder and thinking that that's in the same category as I'd like to have, a 50-watt fiber in my house as well, so I
Yeah,
could do some
that's
metal
what that
stuff,
is. Yeah, yeah,
which is what you've got behind you. I was thinking that's one that I'm looking forward to hitting a
mm-hmm.
price
Yeah,
point that I can
yeah.
afford. Maybe I'll look into the infrared and see if that's a something that
That.
would be reasonably priced and hold me off until the fiber
Yeah,
gets down to affordable.
yeah, yeah. Well, this is the Thunder, and better than a third of this cost is this cabinet. You can get them open boomed and stuff like that. But I wanted, at the time, I had a landscape business and I had employees coming in and out of the shop while I was working during the day, and I didn't want them, you know,
Blind
sometimes you get the
anybody.
yeah, the monkeys, you know, they stand around staring at it, and it's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Well,
Have
it's
you never been around a
fascinating.
welder?
It's fascinating though. I mean,
It is. It is.
to be fair, one of the selling points that is not super valid for digital fabrication is that this is a spare set of hands. This is your employee, and you can just tell it to do some of
Uh-huh.
your work for you, and then you can go work on the other part while it's finishing up its carving, lasing, printing, whatever it is it's doing. You can go do the hand work that needs to get done while your digital fab is over there doing its own thing. This is a separate employee.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great theory, but the digital fabrication is so fucking fascinating to watch that you never get anything done. You stand there and you watch it moving back and forth in circles because it's fucking cool. It's like, I mean, I've had my CNC for like 4 years. I still sit there and I watch it go around in circles because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just cool, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. What's on your horizon there, Miss Jess? What's your next task or skill you're
Ooh,
attacking or thinking about?
I'm really looking forward to getting a MOPA fiber laser in the future so that I can master color on metal. Uh,
Color. Yeah.
yeah, I think
Yeah. Yeah.
that's very fascinating. I want to do more programming projects. Yeah, just little electronics things that I
Yeah.
have.
Like Arduino kind
Yeah,
of
uh-huh.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
NFC stuff.
So are you a fan? Are you a fan of Mr.
I
Claggett?
don't know what that is. Who's Mr. Claggett?
uh,
Bob
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 Claggett.
Claggett.
It's
I like to
I
I
like
like
to
to
make
make
stuff.
stuff.
Maybe, possibly. YouTube channel?
Oh, you should check out his.
Okay.
Yeah,
He has YouTube, but
I've
also
probably
Instagram.
seen some
Yep.
of his stuff then.
He is. He builds robots. He built an Arduino, and then 3D printed a finger to turn on his Glowforge.
Nice.
yeah. When
Yeah, that's
he
that's
would
been a
he would
couple
tell it
years
to
ago,
start
right?
the Glowforge, and the finger would push that button on the
Push the
top of the
button.
Glowforge to make it start.
Cute.
Because you can't just program it to start. You got to go
Yeah,
push the damned button physically.
he
And
has
he
made.
didn't want to have to get up and do that. It was a good
Yeah,
project.
and he does like off the wall. Like one of my favorite things is he did this really high end, fancy with marquetry inlay ping pong tables, and then he used Arduinos and stuff to make uh, digital LED score, like a score, like every time you got a point, it would light up an LED across the
Nice.
net, kind of thing. It was like he's built a full size R2D2. He does all kinds of. He likes to make stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Definitely, and
it's
he's
a good
a
channel.
third of the Making It podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the guys in the Making It podcast.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
and yeah, if you've ever seen him, you'd know it because he starts all of his videos as "Hi, I'm Bob, and I like to make stuff,"
yeah.
and then he goes into his whatever he's making today. He's great. Yeah, Arduinos are fun. I haven't gotten into those yet.
Me neither. Yeah.
I haven't found a need for it. That's basically to start something new. All you need is a project that needs that
Yeah,
solution.
something that motivates you. When I did Fab Academy, that's when I first learned about electronics and programming and making your own circuit boards and stuff. And it just
Hmm.
blew my mind. Like, oh, I don't have to go to school for 4 years to start like using this and making stuff.
Hmm.
Like just a
Hmm.
little bit of teaching got me pretty far and excited to learn more on my own. So
Yeah. So you're 100%
yeah,
self taught. Good for you. That's
thanks.
amazing. Yeah.
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 Yeah, when I got kicked out of high school for not going, and I remember a conversation with my mom. I was like, "Mom, they kicked me out," and she goes, "That's okay, honey. You'll learn at the library." And I was like, "All right, thanks, Mom."
What a great mom. We'll figure it out.
And I did. I did.
Good. Yeah. 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 Your feed is
Thank
incredible.
you. Yeah, I wondered, yeah, which ones you guys would bring up. So I am all over the place, and I'll continue to be all over the place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just scrolling through I see the 2025 coin looks like a casino chip, and I'm assuming these are 3D
Oh,
printed.
yeah. I went to Rocky
Yeah.
Mountain Rep
Yeah.
Fest recently. In addition
Okay.
to making videos about stuff I make, I also like to make videos of maker spaces and hacker spaces that I visit or fun conferences that I go to. My Instagram's kind
Okay.
of like I kind of look at it like a diary of sorts. Uh,
Uh
yeah,
huh.
so it's
Yeah.
a little bit of everything.
Well, I mean, that's what they really started it
Mhm.
for. I mean, that was the original plan for Instagram was a feed of pictures of things you've seen, places you've gone, things you've
Mhm.
done. I mean, that was the original intent to Instagram. So it's like these days people are like, well, yeah, but this is just like my maker account. This is only the stuff I make. Well, yeah, but then what? You want to have a second Instagram just for pictures that you took on vacation that you figure your maker followers don't want to see, and it's
Yeah.
I
I don't
kind of
know.
do that. That's why I have the two. Actually, I have three. I have one that's almost no descriptions other than CNC carve sign. It's basically just a curated portfolio, and then I have my everyday, and then I have me and Miss Ray, which is booze and smoker meat.
Nice. Yeah, you get to
So,
have your different
and,
personalities kind of
yeah,
categorized.
yeah. I used to buy into not buy into or I did buy into the you have to curate your sites and you have to do this and you have to have great lighting and great sound and all that, and now I kind of the videos I'm seeing on YouTube and the feed quality, not feed quality is not the word I'm looking for, but the material going into people's feeds are, this is me, I'm sweating, my shop's dirty, and this is what I made, and I'm really kind of leaning into that. I can identify
Yeah.
with that. You see somebody with a sterile shop, all neon lit up and everything. It's beautiful, but it's like you're not making anything in there.
Yeah,
you know?
it feels more
Mhm.
real,
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah,
little bit
yeah,
less filtered.
Yeah, be
yeah,
As
authentic.
far as yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, show things that screw up
yeah.
sometimes.
I post my mistakes. All my mistakes are on the ceiling here that didn't
That's
work.
when the best learning
I just
happens.
screw 'em.
It sticks longer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, at least your mistake isn't the hooks. Otherwise, it'd be painful as the rest
The
of your
hooks.
mistakes come down on your head.
Oh, right. Oh, no, no, no. Yeah. No,
See,
they're screwed to the wall ceiling.
right. Well, see, that'd be a big mistake. Is if you didn't
Yeah,
screw them to the ceiling well, because then it would be a mistake again, and it hits you in the head.
yeah, yeah. That would suck. And most of that stuff is heavy.
Yeah, well, when you make mistakes on an 8 foot CNC, yeah, it'd be tough to screw some of those to the ceiling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, those don't get screwed to the ceiling.
Um, so did you have a like a craft fair kind of thing going on for a while? Was that a short term thing? I saw something go by where it looked like you had a setup
Oh
for
yeah,
a
fresh
craft fair.
fab farts. Freshly fabricated
Yeah,
fancy arts for friends.
Nice.
but the name was something there, isn't it?
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, I sold my little side gig I had a few years ago was making leather products with my diode laser, and that's probably what you saw. I also did like little lasered earrings with tiny bearings in them. Um, yeah, and were they like these leather wallets, keychain wallets and stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was something like
Yeah,
that.
I've
I don't
sold
remember what I
I've
thought. It was
sold a
a
couple things that I
setup
made,
table.
so but it's not my main thing. It's kind of exhausting to have
No,
orders to fulfill and
It
yeah.
is. I would rather make two or three large things than ship 20 different things in 20 different
But that is one
directions.
of the nice
I mean,
sorry. That is one of the
yeah.
nice things with
Sorry.
like digital fabrication. It's like you can repeat products. It's easy for you to replicate something once you make one. So
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, you can just hit the print button and make another one. I mean,
Yeah, that's all it takes.
well, I mean, there's there's the old trope where everybody's got an easy button and you just throw a board on the CNC and you push the
Yeah.
button and it just kicks out the product for you. And that's obviously not
Yeah.
true. But it's a lot closer to true for the second or the third or the fourth one that you make of the same exact one. I mean, obviously, to make the first one, you got to sit down for a week doing software to get everything prepped and get everything organized and get everything set up so that it does all the paths and all the different cuts and all the different whatevers you need. But I mean, once you've got all of the work done on the front end, then you literally just throw the board down and tell it to do that again. And it almost does do it kind of like that
Yeah.
on repetition, to make duplicates. The
Yeah.
first one is absolutely, there's no easy button for the first of anything you
Mhm.
make.
No.
But you can just hit the print another one button and throw another piece of wood up there. And it pretty much does sort of do that for the second one, especially if you're like, lasering pieces of leather.
Yeah.
You just slap a piece of leather on there and tell it to go
You
to
get to
town.
make a whole
Yeah.
bunch and then try out a wide variety of finishing processes.
Yeah, exactly.
I do the same thing with the client that is delivering HDPE sheets today. He has 9 different things, their furniture, that I cut the pieces for, and it took 3 to 5 hours per sheet to tool path it all up and everything. But now that we have them all, he just drops the sheets off and he puts a sticky note. This is a, cut this file on this one, cut this file on this one, cut this file on this one. And it's gotten to the point where it's almost throw it on the machine and hit the button.
Nice.
Right.
Inevitably there'll be cut the same one you did last time, only change this joint by 1,000ths, so then there's a modification to the file or whatever. But it's nice to get to that point, because then I wasn't able to charge him for 5 hours of time cutting the first one, but I averaged the price per sheet so that now I'm making money cutting them.
Right. Took a little bit of investment up front for your time to get it set up. But for somebody that's going to be a repeat customer, you just throw that time in a hole and call it.
That's the key. If it's going to be a repeat customer,
that was an investment. That was an investment in your time, in products that will, repeat later much easier because you've done the work up front.
Yeah.
Automating it allows you to spend your time elsewhere on other things.
Yeah.
Just get to be more productive.
Assuming that you can walk away from the machine that is so fascinating to watch.
Yeah. It's there's no better feeling than the other day I had the CNC running, I had this laser running, I had the CO2 running, and I was sanding a cookie for a coffee table, a big maple burl, and I'm standing in the middle of my shop watching all my machines, and I'm like, wow, this is some crazy shit.
Awesome?
This employee thing does work. These are employees for me. Once you see, that's the thing. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's much like a normal employee. Sometimes you got to train them to do what the hell you want before you can trust them to go off and do their bit by themselves.
Right? Exactly.
Don't forget maintenance.
Maintenance.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I got to tear my laser apart. I don't know if anybody's ever the CO2 laser it's a Laguna, but it has the little red dot.
Yeah.
And the dot has just continuously it's like non-existent now. So when Tom was here last night, he's got a brand new laser, and his dot is like literally like the laser beam. I'm like, holy crap, there's something wrong with mine, obviously. So we found this lens, the laser tube in the back of the machine, before it hits the very first mirror. There's another lens on the reverse angle, and the laser shoots through that lens to its first corner, and then 90 degrees to that is the light diode that reflects off the inside of that lens. It makes no sense to me. I don't understand how the laser is passing through it and the diode's bouncing off of it and following the laser path around to give you your mark
So
point.
you have a red dot in addition to your
Uh-huh.
laser? Like, okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the CO2 being an invisible laser
Hmm.
line, and then there's just a normal LED that shines down the same path.
Got it. So when
So where the laser where basically is, you've got a one-way mirror, is
Yeah.
that 90
Yeah.
degree angle is a one-way mirror. So the CO2 goes straight through from the back and straight out the front, but the LED shines at a 90-degree angle and hits the back side of it, and then follows
It's
exactly down the path of where the CO2 goes,
mhm.
got
giving
it.
you a visible indicator of where the CO2 is going to go.
So when you're aligning on a
So
mug or something, you want to hit the center
right,
mark, Yeah.
that lets you, basically do a ghost path with just
Hmm.
an LED showing where the path
Yeah.
is going to actually go before you can push go and actually do some burning.
Yeah. And now on these, the red dot is movable.
Hmm.
So you can actually trace, you can actually see what you're going to
Yeah, I'm
etch,
Right.
curious
which
as
is
to what you would want the camera for on your fiber. Is it just mainly to take a picture of the material you're about to laser?
to line up. Like if I want to, I guess I don't know because it's there.
Because you can, because during the framing process, it'll put the
Yeah,
red dot and
yeah.
show you where it's going to execute.
So if your red dot isn't showing up anymore, then I would say maybe find the actual LED that makes the red spot and like wipe
Clean
the
it.
smoke off
Yeah,
of
I'd
it.
check your wiring
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
Yeah, without,
Oh,
Yep.
it's there. It's there. It's just not getting.
It's
okay.
there, but it's
It's
not
like
getting
And the
out.
very.
path
There's
needs
probably
adjustment.
there's
Yeah,
either
yeah,
smoke on the LED, or maybe there's smoke on the back of that one-sided mirror.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I took the mirror out. I have it out. That's what I was just looking for. I can't find it now.
Oh
Story of my
well,
life.
it'll turn up.
But yeah, yeah.
Oh
But
well.
it's a somebody had to invent that. Somebody had to figure that out. And it's a pretty cool. That first corner is a pretty tight.
Hmm.
Like there's a lot of stuff going on in that first corner.
Yeah, CO2 lasers, there's so many things that can go wrong. Yeah, they require a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And I should knock on wood. I have never in 4 years aligned the mirrors on that
Wow.
thing. Like I plugged it in, filled it with water, turned on the chiller, and I've been
Hopefully
cutting.
you just need some cleaning.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping too. I hope I haven't like damaged mirrors or anything, like because I've heard of people like they'll get like condensation on a
Hmm.
mirror or a lens, and they'll just blow a lens apart and fracture them. And
Gotta have a good air
Well, yeah,
assist.
condensation, water. Water's a thing. You get some condensation on a mirror, and then you hit that with a laser, and then you
yeah,
superheat the water to steam, at which point it does nasty things to your
yeah,
mirror.
yeah. And it's kind of a very much. What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I got to say, about a 4.5 watt diode, I do not set many things on fire.
Yeah,
It
that's
just,
good.
that's
You have the
maybe that's an advantage to having hobby grade equipment, is they just don't have the same level of danger
Yeah, you
involved.
have the gentle
Uh,
version.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I've got the version that does. I mean, I don't really like leave the shop when my laser's running, although I do like to walk around the corner because those glasses kind of suck and I just get a headache every time I run it. So I tend to just
yeah,
walk around the corner, but I'm within, 10 feet of it. But I mean, with the hobby grade CNC, I don't have to worry about it, blasting through something stupid and breaking everything, because
yeah,
I'm running a trim router with belts. It can't break anything. It just starts skipping the belt. The belt just starts going thump, 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 thump as it tears the grooves off the belt. But I mean, it won't like, it's like I've never
Yeah.
broken a 1/4 inch bit. It won't do it. It hasn't got the power to.
Uh,
You know?
I've got a box of them.
Yeah, well, see, you could blast right through anything with
Yeah.
a 4x8 machine that's got that kind of power. But I mean, when you're pulling your trim router around with rubber belts, there's only so much you can do before it just gives way.
Yeah.
And I just
I've
don't have to
broken
worry about it
one.
breaking anything other than itself.
Yeah. I've broken 1/2 inch bit. Well, obviously accidentally. It was I was doing a full speed pass, and for whatever reason, the collet slipped. I was doing like a spoil board finish. I was flattening a slab, and I'm going 600 inches a minute, and the collet slipped, and the bit just sucked itself right into a walnut slab and snapped off.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So I totaled a slab, totaled a bit. Through every time you crash a CNC, you should throw your collets away, and because they'll never. I mean, you might not notice in wood, but we were
There's a
again for
little bit of
Tom.
play in them.
Yeah,
It dents
we went
things just a
to
little bit on the inside.
we were cutting aluminum, and just the chatter was shattered bits and bad cuts, and finally it was a Laguna Tech figured it out. He's like, "When's the last time you got new collets, right?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "How old are your collets?" I'm like, "They're original." He's like, "No, no, 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 no. Every time you crash a collet,
Good to
throw it away.
know.
It's no good anymore."
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. He goes, "If you want to carve foam, it's fine, but if you're going to carve acrylic, not glass, hard plastics, you'll get a little bit of chatter out of a collet that's been overstressed."
All my bits are broken from PCB milling because they're very tiny. And if your bed is
Uh huh.
uneven, stuff's going to go wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, those tiny bits. Those tiny bits. I mean, I'll break those by the
Mhm.
dozen. I mean, I do a lot of little tiny intricate inlay kind of stuff, and my favorite bit ever is a 1/32 inch end
Same.
mill, and it is
I've never even seen one.
it's mechanical pencil lead kind of.
Yeah,
I'm scared to drop it, putting it into the collet, because just dropping it on the table with its own weight for 2 inches is enough to snap the tip
bend it.
off these things.
Can you imagine screwing that thing into my 6 horse?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It would look like a piece of hair hanging out of it.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be silly out of a 6 horse. But I mean, you got to do
Oh,
what you got to do.
yeah,
Um,
man. I'll run. I ain't scared. I'll run one.
and I've been doing these little bits for long enough that I can actually cut something out of aluminum with the 1/32 inch bit, and usually won't break more than one in a project now. And I can do a full wood inlay without breaking one anymore. But I've realized that patience is really your best bet on these things, because I mean, I think I'm down to, I don't know, if I'm cutting like walnut with it, I'll probably run it maybe 15 inches per minute and maybe 0.04 max depth, probably closer to 0.02. I'd probably a 0.02 depth and maybe a 15 inch per minute. If I want to go to aluminum, it's a 0.01 depth max, and I'm maybe 8 or 10 inch per minute, and it does pretty well. But I mean, you got to be patient. I mean, because that shit is super slow. I mean, you're watching paint dry as the bit
Yeah,
slowly moves
yeah,
around
yeah.
here. But I mean, hey,
That's
it gets the job done,
very,
and you can't put the details in with anything else.
yeah. That's really methodical too, though. Watching something that small work, it's pretty crazy. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, well, I didn't buy a big, powerful machine. I bought something that did little teeny tiny precision stuff instead. So, but I guess it is what it is. We should probably get a thing of the week in here. And
Yeah. Get things wrapped up.
yeah, well, I'm going to want lunch in half an hour here. So I think it's probably a good time to start thinking about the things of the week. Jess, did you bring anything interesting for a thing of the week?
Is this where we talk about projects we're excited for or other Remind me again what it is.
Anything you want to talk about?
Well, it's just anything that you're excited or interested about, or a product that you've seen recently that it's we've had everything from, oh look, there's a brand new 3D printer that does these interesting things, or there's somebody says they're really into going for rides on trains, and somebody else recommends going to therapy because mental health is important.
That was me.
And it's basically anything that you'd like to
Hmm.
recommend to people,
Mm-hmm.
and it could literally be anything in the world that makes whatever you're excited about at the moment is fine.
I'm really
Mm-hmm.
excited for the Lightburn conference in July in New York City. Uh, yeah,
Okay,
there's going to be a laser craft market. There'll be a big dragon, and then all the Lightburn people will be there.
Is
cool.
this for users? Like I could
Yes.
come down
Uh-huh.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't do the city, but I could.
Yeah, I'm not excited about the big city either, but it should be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too many
I'm
people.
Yeah.
2 hours. Yeah. I'm 2 hours north of it. I've been there 3 times
Hmm.
in 56 years. That was 3 times too many. No,
Yeah.
that sounds like a cool conference. It's like a workbench con, but
Hmm.
for Lightburn,
Yep, it'll be
basically.
our
Yep.
second
Yep.
conference.
Yep.
Yeah, the first one was in Peoria,
Very cool.
Illinois, a few years ago. So
Nice.
Okay,
Nice.
so when is that
in
going to be?
July 19th, 20th. I think I got those
Okay,
dates right. Yeah.
it's a
Nice.
little bit far for me to drive, unfortunately, but I'd
Yeah,
love I'd
if
love
you
to get
were
out and do some
local,
stuff like that. But I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I don't do a whole lot in the way of social, so I
yeah,
haven't
yeah,
made it to any of the shows like that. Hopefully, I'll make it out of my house one of these days. Something cool like that.
yeah. But to the listeners, this is Lightburn is I don't even want to say up and coming. You've been around forever, but you're getting to be the laser control software. So if you can get to a conference or a meeting or a show of any type, I would strongly suggest. I'm going to be emailing Miss Jess a lot in the future, and who knows, I might end up in New York City in
Cool.
July. But my thing of the week,
Sure. What do you got?
thing of the week. What do we call it? A thing of the week now?
Yeah.
Thing
Well,
of the show.
thing of the episode, I guess. I
Thing of
mean,
the episode.
we called
Yeah.
it thing of the week even when we were bi-weekly, but I mean, it's your thing of this week, regardless of how
Yeah.
long it's been since the last one.
I've been, interestingly enough, we talk about digital fabrication and what our machines can and can't do for us and all this kind of stuff. And I get sucked into hand or processes that can't really be done on a digital fabrication machine. And I've been watching this group. I think it's a group. I can't even tell. It's a German Instagram channel called Holtz. Yeah, yeah, Holtz Beige Work. It's HOLZBIEGEWERK. You can look. Winkler is another name they have here, but Holtzberg work. And what they do is they have this equipment and these. I don't even know. I thought it was a submarine when I was first looking at it, but they steam bend like
Nice.
3 inch thick beams, and they're steam bending them with these big hydraulic forms and presses
Cool.
and they've got like it looks like three giant torpedo uh, doors on the wall, which I'm assuming is another room full of steam equipment. And they just like turn this big wheel and open this trap door, and this giant beam slides out. And of course, you have to do everything fast, reasonably fast. But like And of course, it's a 140-year-old dude doing it, so there's probably not three people on the planet bending wood that thick anymore. But he's got all this old equipment, monster. Jimmy DeResta would be in heaven in this shop. Like everything is 4,000 pounds. But they are, and then what they're doing everything from like city benches, to artwork, to beams and buildings, like big arced beams. Like it's just crazy what they can, just bending wood and having it stay there is an amazing thing.
Can I ask, they're pulling it out of a chamber? Does that mean like the wood is like pre-steamed for a long time? Like
They put it, yeah,
proofing?
they put it in a like a steam. You've seen the little Rockler
Yeah.
steam tube thing. Just imagine that 3 feet
Okay.
wide and 28 feet, 30
Wow.
feet long.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's some scaled up stuff there.
that is some scaled up
What are
stuff,
what
and
are they making with them?
they're making a lot of it is looks like park bench furniture, like all sweepy,
Cool.
but they've got the one that got me is this thing is these are 3 to 4 inches thick, 6 to 8 inches wide, and probably 8 feet long, and they're just bending an arc on one end of it.
Cool.
And then they put 3 or 4 of them together, and they have like this big panel. It almost looks like a skateboard ramp.
Nice. I swear I saw somebody doing some kind of a wood bending where they didn't have to put the entire board in something. It was have you ever seen an induction forge where
Yes.
where it's just this circular loop and you put your piece of metal into it and only the piece of metal that's inside the loop gets hot and it doesn't get the rest of the piece hot like a normal
Yeah.
forge would. I swear I saw somebody doing something that was similar to that with wood bending where they only had to heat up the one area, the wood where they needed to bend it. I don't remember how they did it or where I saw it. I see so much weird stuff go by.
If you pull up your Instagram and just search W, it's the third one down. Winkler Holtzberger. Holtz big work. I'm terrible with names.
Wow. Okay.
It's a big white W as their logo.
Cool. Okay. Well, I've got
What do you got?
I've got one that is on brand. I've got a digital tool this week that I see has just come out, and there's been a pretty big push on social media for this guy lately. The brand is Eufy Make. I think they make 3D printers up and maybe lasers. I'm not sure what all they've made up until now. I've heard of the brand. I don't know what all they make, but they just dropped a UV desktop printer.
Oh boy!
Speaking of
Nick's gonna be happy.
Speaking of taking really expensive professional grade equipment and making it desktop hobby affordable, these guys have done exactly that, where they've got it's not much bigger than an inkjet printer. I mean, it's maybe the size of a bamboo
I
printer
wonder how stinky
kind
it
of thing.
is, like if there's any like smells.
I don't know, but everybody and their next door neighbor has an unboxing video and a setup and here's how to get this thing working video, because they just dropped this thing like a week ago. And I mean, we've heard other people go on about UV printers, and I've always seen that UV printers were like a single layer kind of thing where you can feed it a piece of wood or a piece of acrylic or a piece of glass or a piece of whatever you've got in there, and it'll just print a picture on it. But this thing seems to be a cross between a resin printer. This is almost like a resin printer that prints like an inkjet, where it can actually build up levels, where it's putting down areas of UV resin and curing it as it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But it can actually build on top of that and build layers up like a
Yep.
3D printer.
I'm really curious
Yep.
to
So
see
it,
if any of the parts will yellow over time, and how
yeah.
they'll age.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's always kind of an issue with
Yeah.
UV
Hmm.
resin, you know.
Yeah.
It,
Tom has a commercial UV printer, and he's actually. It's. I'm glad you mentioned that buildup. He actually printed an entire hotel's worth of door numbers, and he printed the braille
Nice.
dots on the
cool.
yeah on the just the the little vinyl. This is also 3D printed,
Nice.
or not 3D printed. I'm
UV.
sorry, UV.
It's like those are
Yeah,
tiny
UV
little
printing.
letters.
Those
yeah.
are
It's
tiny
and
little letters.
look at those glasses. How
Sharp.
That is cool. Unfortunately, not great audio content, but
yeah. Well, I've got a face for audio, so
there we go. There we go. Well, so and I'm trying to remember what they said the price on this was. I think they're in a Kickstarter stage where I think you can buy in for about $1,600 to get one of these desktop printers that does
wow. Yeah.
the UV printing with depth. And that
Yeah.
I saw that come out and I'm like, ooh, that looks like
Yeah,
fun.
my first impulse was
I'm
like, how
Yeah.
much is it? I want it right now. But then I was like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch it for a
Yeah.
couple years and see how it does and see.
Yeah. Mr. Kaipoff will
Yeah.
have one.
Yes, yeah. We had a guest on here. I don't remember if he was maybe episode 4 or something like that. John Kaipoff, and he had access to one of the the $10,000 or $12,000 UV printers that he had access to at his was it Makerspace or something like that, and he says that's the one that he really wants to buy for his own shop.
Mhm. Yeah.
And now I would be super surprised if he's not already paid for his Kickstarter on that one.
Yeah.
I would fall right off my stool to find out he had not
Yeah.
bought in on
Yeah.
that yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well.
Let's see. We're down to the dream tool. So Jess, I like to ask everybody what their dream tool would be. If you could have any one tool of any variety delivered for free, and they just drop it off with all the accessories and whatever you'd like to have, what would you get, and what do you think you'd like to do with it?
Dream tool. I guess I'd like to have a very large CNC machine so I could do more large furniture pieces. Maybe
Mhm.
like
Cool.
a Phantom CNC or something like that. The
Mhm.
vacuum table and tool changer and all that. Someday.
Oh, that'd be fun. I don't really have a desire for a tool changer. I don't do enough big production kind of work to actually see a lot of value out of a tool changer, but I'd love to have a little vacuum bed. I keep seeing those. I don't remember who it is, but there's a brand that's got a very affordable small vacuum bed that you can attach to a CNC, and I've kind of got an eye
Uh,
on it. Not enough of an eye that I remember what the brand name is, but
yeah.
but that would be nice. I'd like to have that. Of course, I'm not a big fan of the noise, because you need to have the the compressor running nonstop, and you generally need something bigger than a fish tank or bigger than a fish tank pump or a airbrush pump. Those are usually insufficient. You need something that makes a little bit more noise than that.
Yeah.
There's a there's a guy. I'll send you a link later. I'm sorry. Maybe you can put it in the show notes. Joey Steelblade is friends with him, and he fusion designed pucks that you can 3D print. You put your gasket in it, and you can either you. He actually has a file. You can. I have a Grabo. You can use a Grabo, or you can go to Harbor Freight and buy a vacuum pump for $150, and then you can make different size pucks and have hold downs on your. It'd be perfect for you.
So you could just like print 4 little pucks and get the corners of your board.
Yep. Or if you're going to make spoons, you can print a thin, narrow puck and have your material on the inside of where your cutout is. You could make it any way you want.
Sounds really cool.
That way you can cut around the puck.
Mm-hmm. And not have to worry about no spoil board damage, nothing. You can cut through your material and have your piece floating on the puck.
I'd be worried about the part flexing if it's not fully supported. You know, I mean, I'm used to laying something flat on the spoil board with blue tape and CA glue and having something solid behind it. I'd be a little bit worried if I was cutting something thin that was only supported on the corners that it would flex in the middle.
Yeah,
but I guess
you could
put a puck in the middle,
or mill your pucks into your spoil board, which is basically what I have, just on a larger scale. You know.
Right.
And we all know how you love to mill into spoil boards.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of cutting my spoil board out. But that's because I don't have enough Z height. And sometimes I need that extra 3/4 of an inch of Z clearance that I just need to cut away a chunk of spoil board and bury my part in there so I can reach the top of it.
Yeah. I'm actually, this is an ongoing joke on the show, Jess. I don't own a 3D printer, and Jeff doesn't understand why. but what I'm doing is I'm amassing a bunch of things that I really need to make with a 3D printer to justify to my wife why I need a 3D printer. And we're getting pretty close. These vacuum pucks have
Does your wife have a list of things she wants too? Because that might help. If you just show her.
Done around the house, yes. And I'm working on them.
Well, you have to have the mentality of the 3D printing stuck in your head to realize when you see a problem that you could solve that problem with the printer. I mean, she probably has a dozen problems around the house that could be fixed with a 3D printer, but if she doesn't know what she could do with a 3D printer, she wouldn't look at that and think, well, a 3D printer would solve that. She thinks, well, Al going to the hardware store and replacing this and fixing the damn thing right is probably what she thinks would be the right solution. But
the hold down jigs and jig mounting fixtures you can make for a small bed on a like a laser. You can make coin holders. You can make I do gun material, bullets, casings, and stuff like that. You know. Which need little tiny holders, you know, and you could literally make a trough to set one in.
I hope you get one soon. They're really fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting. Jeff told me that the bamboos might be going on sale if they haven't already.
There seems to be some variation. They seem to have an anniversary sale in June. Now, last year they apparently had it like June 5th, but the year before it was apparently June 26th. So apparently June is their anniversary. So we're sort of hoping that they'll have a sale sometime in June again this year, at which point hopefully Al would be able to buy the A1 combo that he's hoping for.
Yeah, that's $549 right now.
Oh wow.
And it's $399 without the
I'm
AMS.
glad I got mine during Black Friday last year, so it was a good time for me.
And what'd you pay
not
for yours?
That much.
$299?
I don't remember exactly, but not that much.
Yeah, pre-tariff.
Well, we're pre-fear of tariff. There's so much stuff that's
all of that's out of control.
I saw somebody had a tariff sale on something right locally, and the guy next to me was like, "Don't you make those right here in town?" And they're like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Yeah, you can't have a tariff sale on that."
Right. Well, I mean, where do their parts come from, though?
It's like a farm stand.
Oh,
stuff.
Okay. Interesting.
Fair enough.
Very organic parts.
Yeah, definitely not imported from China.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But anyway, Miss Jess, it's been a pleasure. Where can everybody find you?
I'm at JessMakes90 on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah. And no YouTube channel or
I
anything
mean, I
right
have
now?
a YouTube, but I don't really like put stuff on it.
Okay, that's fine. Nope,
I
nope,
got a Medium
that's fine.
page linked on my Instagram with some articles of stuff I've done, but mainly just Instagram.
Nice. So
Cool.
IG, find her at IG.
Yep.
And her Instagram is fascinating because she does just a little bit of everything, and except she does a little bit of everything slightly differently.
Yeah.
Everything is very unique, even if a lot of the tools are familiar. The things you choose
Hmm.
to do with them are very unique.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess I'll wrap this up. Um, Definitely like to thank Jess for coming on the show. And everybody who enjoyed the show should go follow her on Instagram under JessMakes90. And I'd also like to thank my co host Al for taking the time to hang out and asking the good questions. And I need to thank the listeners for tuning in. A huge thank you to our current patrons for their support. Even though they seem to be barely stringing on life support, I've got everybody down to $1 because, well, we're not making guaranteed 2 week content anymore. So I dropped the price down to the smallest they'd let me go is $1.
Yeah.
So I figure even if we give them one episode a month, they're getting their dollars worth out of it.
I'm sold.
So many thanks to Adam from BKR Customs, Ed Swanson of Ed's Clocks and More, and Eric from Overall Makerworks.
Yeah.
So if you enjoyed listening and would like to help support the show, you can share it with your friends, you can leave a review, or you can join the Patreon. Our Patreon is at patreon.com/digifabricators. And we've got a very quiet Discord server open to all listeners. We'd love to have some new people hanging out. Our patrons also get access to an exclusive Patreon channel in our Discord server, and we tell them about our new guests before the shows drop. Direct links to Discord server and Patreon page are in the Digifabricators Instagram bio, which you should also be following on Instagram is at digi-fabricators. So, and if someone that you know does cool things with their digital tools, please let us know. We're definitely running short on friends to invite, and we'd like to have some suggestions of fun people to go. I think we've got one guy lined up for us though, so that's
Nice.
we're not too desperate at the moment, but we're doing good. So I can be found most places as a weird guy, and Al can be found under New York Woodworks, which is NY Woodworks with an X. So thank you again to everyone, and we will catch you on our next episode. Good night. Sweet. Nailed it.